Guys, I will be right back. I gotta turn on the light. Okay. Ooh, that sun is bright coming in through that window. Wow. Ah. Okay. I have no idea. Part of it is the shadow from the sun. Methinks. Okay. So, today we are talking about animals of ancient Egypt, primarily focusing on mummified animals. Now, for some of them, we are going to dig a little bit deeper. Which is cool. Others, I'm just going to mention. So, first off, it's believed that around 70 million animals were mummified. Now, that's total. That doesn't include, 700 million different types. No, that is 70 million total animals mummified. And while I'm not going to go into details here as to how I don't like the lights. As to how the mummies were made, I am going to give some info on certain animals that were mummified. Now, it should be noted that for some of these animals, the ancient Egyptians did breed them and killed the animals for use as mummies. And these animals actually became an important part of the Egyptian economy during those times. So you may have noticed that the thumbnail for this live are cats. That is not a goof up. That is for real because the Egyptians held cats as sacred. And they were seen as both pets, but they were also seen as very important forms of animal control, pest control. They would have been used to keep the fields and the granaries free of mice and rats, which was very important to the Egyptians because without that, they might have starved. They may have been kept for pets, but they were also kept for other things as well. We have seen cats that have been mummified, and they have also been included in scenes in tombs for over 4,600 years, so a very long time. Now, cats were considered to be the animal forms of two goddesses, Beset and Sekhmet. Beset, or Betest, Basset, anyway, whatever, was seen as a protector of children, female fertility, guardian of pregnant women, among other things. On the other hand, well, that's the way it might be spelled, but not in the text that I was looking at. I'm going to go black again, probably. There it goes. I'm in the shadows again. So that's one of them. And the other one is and Sekhmet. Oops, I misspelled that. Anyway, on the other hand, Ra was sometimes seen to, or known to, take form of male cats. Hence, cats were important to Egyptians, and they were mummified. Now, these mummies were done as a way to appease the gods as offerings. Sometimes they were used to take into the afterlife so that the food would be guarded. And also, they were taken as pets. Sadly, Egypt and the world lost some of these cats as they were exported to Europe, and not for good things. Some of these animals were taken into museums, while others were destroyed in the name of fertilizer. Yes, I said fertilizer for the garden. Grind up the mummies and sprinkle on your soil. Now, we also have lions, and you might be thinking, nature guy, lions are cats. Yes, but bear with me. So, fairly recently, they discovered 2 lion cubs. Now, with these other lion cubs, there were 4 other cats that were also discovered, but they didn't know at the time that the article was published what those other cats were. Now, the first mummies of this species were found in 2004, and since then, only 2 other lion mummies have been found. Lions were sometimes kept as pets, but they were also important because they were symbols of authority and power. They were also symbols of Sekhmet and her son. And Carol, I am sending names to you via Messenger. Whoops. Now her son was associated with war, protection, and the weather. Another animal that we have seen sacrificed to, well, not sacrificed, but mummified to an extent, were crocodiles. And they were very important to Egyptian culture. They were linked to deity, seen as a food source, and also as a source for medicine. Sobek was the lord of the crocodiles, and he's often seen as a human with a crocodile head. He may have been a fertility god early on, but then at some point during the Middle Kingdom, he was combined with Ra to become Sebek Ra. And he is said to have had created order within the world. They have been mummified they may have been modified. They may have been mummified to provide food for the pharaoh and as incarnations for the gods. Crocodiles that were mummified may have been obtained via hunting, dead animals that were found, and yes, breeding for the purpose of sacrifice. So again, you would breed these animals and then sacrifice them. Cobras were seen as a symbol of sovereignty, royalty, deity, and divine authority. If you've ever noticed the crown that a pharaoh wears, there is a cobra that is standing up. That is on purpose. It's called a urus. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. URAEUS. I'm not going to bother. I don't know how to type on the live. If there's a way for me to do it or not. Maybe there is, and I just haven't found it yet. It is believed that the cobra protected the pharaoh as well as projected his power. Now, I couldn't find a lot of information on the cobras and mummification, but I do know that they did mummify cobras. Next up, we have scarab beetles. Now, scarabs were very important to the Egyptians. However, scarabs were not like they are in the Brandon Fraser mummy. They didn't crawl underneath human skin, nothing like that. Instead, scarab beetles were symbols of rebirth, regeneration, and protection in the afterlife. Something else that they would do is all of these animals may have been engraved in stone. There may have been statues, or there may have been written in hieroglyphs. Very often, the scarab represented the heart of the person that was buried. Next up, we have dogs. Now, dogs accompanied their owners on hunts, and they were also used as guard dogs. They may have been mummified as pets, but it's also believed that they were placed in the tombs as offering to Anubis and two other gods that I'm not going to mention. In the catacombs next to one of Anubis's temples, they found a bunch of dog mummies. It's also possible that, like the crocodile, dogs may have been bred for the purpose of being mummified as offerings. The sacred ibis was worshipped as the god Thoth and was thought to protect Egypt from diseases and snakes. And they were often mummified and buried with pharaohs. Now, this god had the body of a human and the head of a ibis. And he was the god of writing and wisdom. Next up, we have baboons. Now, they would have used various types of baboons. They have found evidence that the baboons were poorly treated. Maybe not in all cases, but in some cases. These guys would have been offered up as offerings to the gods. There is evidence that they were malnourished while in captivity. The baboons represented the god Sheshet, and she gave the god of writing and wisdom his words to the people, and she was the goddess of writing and the keeper of books. Any questions up to this point? Yes, no, maybe so. I thought I had a vote. Okay. Now, at this point, I stopped breaking down the animals as far as mummification goes, and I just named them because really my fingers were getting tired. And also because I did not have, I had a birthday party to go to, so it was important that I be there. So other animals that were mummified included bulls, and I've only seen one, but there may have been others. Rams, so male sheep. Jackals, again, jackals would have been given to Anubis. Fish, probably mummified. Sorry about that. Probably modified. Jackal god. He had something to do with the dead. His exact role. The Egyptian god of death was a jackal-headed deity that guided souls and dead kings to the afterlife. There they were judged by Osiris through the weighing of the heart. Anubis would also embalm the dead and protect them. Falcons, probably for Osiris or Ra. Hawks were sometimes mummified, and even pythons. Reasons why, they gave 4 reasons for why animals would be mummified. They included food for the dead in the afterlife. That might explain the fish. Pets of the deceased, so maybe hawks or falcons. The dogs, maybe the cats. The lions fit into that category. Also, cult animals, so maybe animals that belonged to certain gods or goddesses. And votive offerings. Now, these animals were believed to carry their pleas to the gods. And they would also believed that they might carry their pleas to the gods. So that is a little bit about the Egyptian mummies. In some cases, they literally found crocodiles that were just buried in the sand and allowed to naturally mummify. Others were mummified. So very different set of things. I'm assuming, let's see if, I want to see something real quick. One pharaoh was actually buried with his cat, and cats actually had their own little like kitty sarcophaguses, which were pretty cool looking. Tutankhamun was actually buried, I believe it's Tutankhamun, King Tut. They found a mummy, or a lion. The lions probably were also bred and buried in cemeteries. So yeah, that's a little bit about it. Sorry if it's not in more detail or it's not quite what you were expecting, but it's there and hopefully you learned something. I don't know how I'm going to do Tuesdays live, but I will try my best. Tuesdays live is going to be Animals of the Bible. It'll be at 7 o'clock. And I do have I guess I should say do. That sounds pretty gross. I'm waiting for my computer, my Chromebook, to decide that it's going to. Okay. Friday's live at 7 p.m. is going to be Could This Live on Land? And you're probably thinking, huh? What? Well, let me show you what we're going to be talking about. Partially, anyway. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble. I don't think I will. But we're going to be talking about the possibility of something like this walking around on land. And discussing it, because why not? Yeah, so if you have questions about the mummies or something that you thought was really cool during this, let me know. I want to know. I want to know if this was your favorite live. If not, that's okay. In addition to all of this, they also buried monkeys. There was some discussion if they brought in other animals from other areas, and we think probably not. They probably had the North African lion, which is what would have been in their area, as well as Nile crocodiles. They would have been the ones that lived around them. And I'm assuming the cats and the dogs were what they had, what they bred. Probably, unfortunately, a little bit like our puppy mills today. The animals were farmed and then mummified when the need was, when there was a need. Now, I know the pharaohs were buried with animals. I don't know if, like, the higher echelons of leadership were also buried with animals. That I don't know. But it's possible. I also heard a rumor that a hippo was mummified, but I could not find actual evidence of that. I do know that there was a goddess who had sort of an hippo head. See if I can hunt that up real quick. Probably won't be able to. They also had a goddess who had a cow head. Taurt. Taurt. And she was a benevolent protectress of fertility and childbirth. She is said to have had the head of a hippo, female chest, female human chest, the tail of a crocodile, and the claws of a lion. Very angry sounding goddess. Whoops. I think the other one is Hathor. Yes. Now, this was the Egyptian deity of many realms. Mother to Horus, god of the sky, and Ra, the sun god. Goddess of beauty, sensuality, music, dancing, and maternity. She is depicted wearing a headdress of a cow with cow horns and a sun disk between them, or as a cow or lioness. So she was pretty important as far as a goddess goes. She was a consort of the sky god. How is everybody doing today? We had snow today. Something I'm sure the Egyptians didn't have to deal with. We are not here, though, to discuss the gods of Egypt. I really need to finalize plans for, or work a little bit more on something that was discussed yesterday in live. You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to live down Fred. Fred is just going to be forever an issue. It gets dark, it gets light. Come on, come up. Why are you not working? All I want to do is look at okay, we have 463 subscribers as of today. Not that it matters, but I like to stay on top of things, so. And 33 subscribers on my sister channel. Or not my sister's channel, but the other channel. It has 33 subscribers. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting there ever so slowly, but we are getting there. Yay, it didn't fall. I don't know. Talk to me. Because it is way too early to end live. We need to have some fun. I could stand on my head if that would help. Probably not, huh? And before you say it, no, I can't really stand on my head. I am going to make it a tradition at Christmas time to read the Christmas Carol. It's just a little picture book that I bought. But I'm like, okay, it's a thing. We could try that, right? I'm looking for a book. So this is something that I found for sale. It's the Deities and Demigods book. And what I'm interested in is, does it have Egyptian in it? Ooh, it does. 52. It's interesting that there wasn't mention of a lot of the other deities that I read about. It's like, yeah, we'll talk about these, but not about others. This has been a slow live so far. Maybe because we're not at 3 o'clock? I don't know. I expected more people. I also need to come up with a thumbnail for the Bible before I go to bed tonight. And after live, anybody doing chores today? Because I have to. I have to do laundry. I really don't want to. Yeah, Osiris was, I think, the big dude, the head guy, and Anubis served with him. Yeah, but I think Aton came later. I think. And Isis was... That's not what I typed. So Isis was a healer, a deity involved in the rites of the dead and cured the sick. She was a role model for women. Yes. She was a magic healer. She cured the sick and brought the deceased to life. And as a mother, she was a role model for all women. She was sometimes represented as a scorpion, a bird, a sow, or a cow. And there are no references to Isis before the fifth dynasty. So between 2465 through 2325 BCE. The priest of Heliopolis, Heliopolis, Heliopolis. Followers of the sun god Ra developed the myth of Isis. This told that Isis was the daughter of the earth god Geb and the sky goddess Nut, and a sister to deities Osiris, Seth, and Nephthys. BCE, before the Common Era, I believe is what it stands for. Yeah. It basically stands for BCE, before Common Era, or before Current Era, or before Christian Era. Used when referring to a year before the birth of Jesus Christ. So basically, it's the same thing as BC. Yeah. I really, really need ideas because I'm bottoming out. So I got to see my older nephews today, and they are not really, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't see this as something worth doing. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I was looking at also. Man, do my eyes look black? I mean, not pure black, but black. Yeah, I switched the. Oh, I switched the. I switched things around. I think some of it was the sun was coming straight in the window, and I'm in sort of a little alcove, sort of in the room, and so there's shadows. Ooh. Mm. I did start working on the Dark Walk, chapter 7. So you'll be happy about that. And to those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. I know, but I've been busy. Oh, sorry. I am like needing, I am in need of a nap. I also really need to get some other stuff. I don't know what. I need to be inspired. Doing lives 3 days a week, it's working for what I want it to do. But man, guys, is it rough. Some other gods and goddesses, maybe we will do that. Um, we can talk about Bigfoot. I don't have a problem talking about Bigfoot. I've talked about him before, but it's not a. But yeah, we can talk about Bigfoot. I was going through. I have a notebook that I write down ideas in. Yeah, I have seen like a lot of. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Well, I. It's not that I don't want to talk about other gods. It's more the channel isn't necessarily about that. It's more about the animals and the nature side of it. Um, it would cryptids would be the closest I would come to. More along the lines of like Odin had ravens. So ravens are an extension of Odin, sort of. Yeah, the offspring of Loki. Long story on that one. He had ravens. He had two. I don't remember their names right off the bat, but he had two. I'd like to do more, not offering, offspring. Where is my book? It's not on the shelf. That's for darn sure. Um, huh? Oh. Okay, so no, different book. So the story goes that Loki had transformed himself into a female horse. Now, there was a stallion who was going loco because this really, I guess, good looking uh, female horse was around. He wanted to prevent this wall from being built. Oh wait, let me restart the story. This is the Asgards first came into being, and the gods hired a mason to build a defensive wall. The bargain they struck was that he would build the wall by himself in 3 sections, and in return, the gods would give him the sun, the moon, and the goddess Freya. Immediately things went pear-shaped when the mason asked if his stallion could assist him. The gods agreed and quickly learned that it was a trick. The stallion had super strength and greatly increased the speed of construction. But that didn't jive really well with the Asgardians, and so they twisted Loki into slowing down the mason. And so the Loki transformed into a female horse, drove the stallion cuckoo, and then proceeded to prevent the wall from being built in time. The stallion was never heard from again. Loki came home in due time with an 8-legged foal named Sleipnir. He matured into a super horse, and Odin claimed him. He was the fastest horse in the world, could run on air and water as well as land, and carried his rider to hell more than once. And that is a quick story about Sleipnir. And if I didn't pronounce the name right, I apologize. Sort of, anyway. Hello, new person that I don't know because I don't see a name. And I don't usually deep dive into any myths, but what the heck. I don't know. Some of them I get. Frigga, Balder, This is another one. I actually like this one a little bit better than the other one. Well, we are almost to the magic hour, guys. It's almost 7 o'clock. And you know what that means. That means we should get people in that have never been in, and people that probably are going to cause problems. But whatever. I forgot to put that away. Shame on me. I'm hungry again. Another? I thought I just answered that. Didn't I already answer that? I'm sure I did. Oh, I got a comment from, I believe it was the YouTube duck. And I think I forgot that I was supposed to answer those otherwise. Anyway, I'll have to check into it. I cannot get comfortable. Well, I think there was a little bit more to it than just that, but yeah, that's what they say anyway. Anyway, it is time to say goodbye. Have a good one, everybody. Sorry I wasn't super talkative here at the end. I will talk to you peeps later.